Thank you for choosing low-cost Interlock. We know this has been a difficult period, and we are committed to helping you every step of the way while treating you with the respect you deserve. You have made the best choice when it comes to choosing your Interlock provider due to the fact that our Interlock is the easiest to use. We will never charge you any hidden fees, and you will receive the best customer service in the industry. The video you are about to watch was designed to outline your program as well as demonstrate the operation of the Interlock. For simplicity's sake, I will refer to the term breath alcohol content as BAC and IID in place of saying ignition interlock device. Don't worry, you'll catch on quickly. And at the end of each section I cover, there will be a place for you to sign your name, stating that you've understood the information presented, or you will have the option to watch that particular section over again, just in case you've missed anything. And of course, if you ever have any questions, please feel free to call our office at any time. Okay, let's begin. This training process has been broken down into 5 parts. First, let's discuss the installation. The installation is being performed by one of our technicians at a location that is state licensed, certified, and insured. All our technicians have been thoroughly screened and are experienced experts in many types of automotive electrical systems. Our service center network is supported by our in-house engineers who are continuously updating our database to ensure that they are informed of the latest technologies. The installation of a low-cost interlock device will not damage your vehicle and will not drain your battery. However, per state requirements, cars that have a remote engine start will have that feature disconnected while the IID is installed. The next part of your installation process is taking care of your forms and paperwork. You will be signing documents that include your lease agreement with us and possibly forms for your state-specific IID program. Although a low-cost interlock representative has already explained the procedures on what to do with your forms, your technician is always available to answer any questions you may have. This may include whether your monitoring authority requires you to walk in hard copies or if they accept electronic submission. Let's discuss how to use your interlock device. While our ignition interlock uses the latest technology and it only detects alcohol, alcohol-based products like mouthwash, hand sanitizers, some medications, perfume, or body spray will definitely create a reading. There are also many products that contain trace amounts of alcohol in their ingredients. Fortunately, contaminant alcohol quickly dissipates. To be safe, we recommend you wait 10 to 15 minutes after eating or drinking before providing a breath sample. A contaminant reading is not a false positive. You will be held responsible for all readings regardless of the source. So please make sure you look for alcohol in the list of ingredients of the food you consume or products you use. Items that you probably consume on a daily basis will surprise you. Foods with fermented alcohol or alcohol sugars in them, like some sugar-free foods, some fruit juices, some energy bars, and even some energy drinks. You also have to be careful of products containing yeast. 7-grain bread is one of the worst offenders. And then, of course, there are foods where you have no idea they have alcohol in them. Cliff bars, for example, utilize vanilla extract, and because the bars are not cooked, the alcohol from the vanilla extract is not baked out. While we are always updating this list, there are certainly other things we have not accounted for, and again, we advise you to stick to our recommendation of not eating or drinking anything 10 to 15 minutes prior to giving a sample. Also, always keep bottled water handy in your car just in case you do consume any of these products. In the event that you do fail your test, we typically advise our clients in that circumstance to drink some water and air out their car. Now, on to how you actually give a sample. We make using our interlock as easy as possible for you. All states require the interlock device to have an anti-circumvention measure in place to ensure real human breath is used. Many companies that utilize older technology require their customers to blow with difficult breathing patterns like blow while humming or exhale and inhale in order to comply with the anti-circumvention requirement. Our technology has the anti-circumvention feature built internally into the interlock and only requires a 3-second straight blow at steady volume. It is best to imagine you will be blowing out many candles on a birthday cake. You want to extinguish them all in one breath, but you need to have enough force to make the flame go out. When blowing into the device, you will hear a tone being emitted when you are doing it correctly. Unit We'll also let you know if it is an insufficient sample or if you're blowing too hard, in which case you'll be able to give a new sample in a few seconds. Stop blowing when you hear a click. If a BAC level is below your state required amount, your car will start as normal. The mouthpieces are reusable and they are created from a thick, durable plastic that can be washed as needed. We also give you a few extra mouthpieces for convenience. Here, let me demonstrate how easy it is. See? That's all there is to it. The information from these samples are stored within the memory of the unit and are downloaded during the download and calibration process, which we will explain shortly. The interlock does need to be used by all people starting and driving your car. Fortunately, our device is so easy that almost anyone can use it with little to no explanation. We strongly suggest that you keep record of who drives your vehicle and when, as you will be responsible for all the information on the data log regardless of who is driving. It is important to note that it is illegal and may be a felony to have someone else blow into your device for you to start your vehicle, or while you're driving. In the event that you fail the breath test while trying to start your car, your vehicle will not start. In some states, your low-cost interlock may enter a temporary lockout. This means that for a few minutes, you will be unable to submit another sample. Once the temporary lockout is over, you will be able to submit another sample. Once you pass the test, you will be able to start your vehicle. In many states, too many failed attempts to start your vehicle will cause your device to go into a service lockout and require you to return to the service center. This varies by state. In addition to giving a test to start your car, your state requires that you give a sample while you're driving, called a rolling retest. State regulations require that retests occur at random intervals to prove the continued absence of alcohol. Less than 10 minutes after restarting your vehicle, a retest will be requested, and then every 5 to 55 minutes after that until the vehicle is shut off. When it is time, the device will beep to alert you a retest is needed. All you need to do is simply pick up the device and while keeping your eyes on the road, blow into the device in the exact same manner as when you first started your car. Please take the test when you're comfortable and able to do so. You will have a window of a few minutes which will provide you with ample time to pull over if needed. If you do not give a rolling retest or fail it, your state may impose additional penalties. When you have arrived at your destination, place the interlock in a safe area out of direct sunlight. If the device asks you for a test as you are about to turn your car off, you should always provide a sample when prompted. It is important that you do not leave your car running unless you are in the vehicle, as it is impossible to know when a rolling retest will be requested. If the test is not taken within a timely manner, it can be considered a missed test and your device may enter into a lockout. A common question we receive is, will the IID shut my vehicle off while driving? And the answer is no. The low-cost interlock can only prevent your vehicle from starting. Once you have successfully passed a test and started your vehicle, the interlock will not affect the operation of your vehicle. Depending on your state requirement, it can, however, activate your horn and/or light should a test be missed or failed. In case your car stalls, most states allow for a free restart, and that can give you as much as a 3-minute window. As much as we know that you will like working with low-cost interlock, the day will come when you can have your device removed from your vehicle. During the removal process, we will make sure you are eligible for removal to ensure compliance with your state program. The proper paperwork will be provided, and instructions on what to do with these forms will be explained in depth by our customer service rep. But your technician will also be available to answer your questions. Now let's talk about your state program. You have already been given all the specific information needed to comply with your state interlock program prior to today's installation appointment. The following are all general guidelines and may differ from what is required for your specific interlock program. Like many technical instruments, all interlock devices must undergo a calibration process to ensure that it has accurate readings. To calibrate your device, drive to your local service center when Service Due appears on the screen. A reminder message will start displaying 7 days before your required date. Your calibration and download can be done prior to or on the due date. It is very important that you do not miss it. Otherwise, you may be out of compliance with your state requirements, and missing your calibration due date will cause the device to enter a lockout mode per state requirements. When you arrive at your service center, you will pay a nominal fee that is outlined in your lease. This fee will cover the inspection, calibration, and download of your device. The download is delivered to our secure servers, and depending on what is required by your state, it may or may not be reported directly to the monitoring authorities. The entire download and calibration process takes less than 5 minutes. However, we know your time is valuable, so we also recommend that you call the service center prior to making an appointment. See, the calibration's all done. We believe that your state is responsible for deciding what penalties to enforce, unlike other interlock companies that will gladly charge you for missed or failed tests, even when it's not required. Low-cost Interlock will never charge you for missed or failed tests. I'm going over some of the penalties your state program has, and please make sure to review the information provided to you by the state to become more familiar with your regulations. Violations. Violations generally occur if you tamper with the device, circumvent or try to bypass the device, such as starting the car without taking the required breath sample, failing to give a rolling retest when prompted, failing a test by blowing a sample above your state's allowable limit. Lockouts. Many times, violations can lead to lockouts. As I previously mentioned, it is a state-mandated function that will not allow you to start your vehicle. Depending on the state requirements, lockouts can be caused by blowing a BAC that is above the state-specific limit, blowing too many high BACs, failing to submit a breath sample, or trying to tamper with or circumvent the system. Fortunately, Low Cost Interlock is the only company that doesn't charge you for missed or failed tests. Our competitors charge as much as $100 per occurrence. With regards to reporting your download information to a monitoring authority, each state has their own requirements for what is reported to them. Many of the questions asked about IIDs have already been discussed throughout this video, but now I will go over some frequently asked questions. First, what do you need to do if your mechanic has to work on your car? Call our office prior to getting work done, and we will make sure to guide you through your state-specific process. Next, what happens if you're out of state and experience problems? Low Cost Interlock operates in several states, and we may be able to perform your calibration and download in a state you've traveled to. We would caution, however, before leaving your home state to check with your monitoring authority to make sure you're allowed to drive out of state. You should also verify with the state you'll be going to make sure they recognize your restricted license. Now, here are some questions related to payments. Can I mail my payment if I don't have a credit card? No. Low Cost Interlock only accepts credit and debit cards. If you don't have a credit card, we recommend you purchase a prepaid debit card from Walmart. What will happen if my payment is declined? Always call our office as soon as you're made aware of an issue so we may work together to resolve your situation. Failure to do so may make you non-compliant with your program, and additional interlock time may be imposed. You may also incur a $25 late fee. You have made it to the end of this training video. I hope that this video has been helpful. Please make sure to read your user manual to understand your state guidelines, as you are responsible for understanding all the information and following the instructions listed. Please remember that we are always here to help guide you through this process. There may be other requirements you need to fulfill, such as enrolling in alcohol education classes or obtaining SR22 insurance, and we can get you into the right hands with companies that we know will treat you well. Our 24/7 support staff is always available to be a resource throughout your program. Now that you have become an Ignition Interlock expert, let's go through your lease. Please make sure to read it in its entirety, as you will be responsible for understanding your state regulations and complying with them. When you're finished, provide the required signatures at the bottom. I know that sometimes legally binding documents can seem dry, so here are some key sections from the lease that we would like to reiterate in order to ensure that you understand the details within your Interlock program. The first is about insurance for the IID. Whether by accident or a stroke of bad luck, there is a possibility that while the Interlock is in your possession, it may get damaged or stolen. Adding the optional insurance would protect against that. Please read this carefully and select whether or not you would like to include the optional insurance and sign the bottom. Please note, the Interlock has a $2,400 value, so the insurance is the cheapest you'll ever buy. The next section is about calibration. This shows your frequency in which your state requires you to come in for calibration, as well as the amount paid to your service center. Please read this carefully and provide your signature at the bottom to proceed. The next section I would like to highlight is our early termination fee. Our definition of early termination is the removal of the interlock device prior to when your monitoring agency has authorized it. In some states, removing your device sooner than you're eligible will result in you having to start the whole interlock program over again. Please read this section carefully and provide your signature at the bottom to proceed. Last is the credit card authorization form. Each month, we automatically charge the credit card that we have on file for you to pay for your monthly lease. It is important that this information is kept up to date so that you do not have to incur any late payment fees. Please read this section carefully and provide your signature at the bottom to proceed. Now, on to the last section, which has specific information on your state paperwork. These are what the forms in your state look like, and depending on your situation, you may have to use one or all of these. Please review your information to ensure its accuracy. Any error or typo may lead to your paperwork being rejected from your monitoring authority. This can cost you both time and money. And that's a wrap. You successfully completed your low-cost interlock training. Please remember that if you have any further questions, feel free to call us anytime. On behalf of Low Cost Interlock, I would like to sincerely thank you for placing your trust in us and becoming our client.